Dakota's Red Sox, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It'll be Ellsbury, Pedroia, and Martinez. Euclid, Ortiz, Bay, Drew. Kochman gets the start at first, and Alex Gonzalez. Kevin Euclid, what a year he is having against the Orioles.
Take a look at our PNC scouting report for Jeremy Guthrie. Well, 5 and 7, both home and road. You can look against the Sox this year. Not great earned run average, but for a guy that struggled on early, he has really had a great late season. Sure, did lose his last game against the Yankees, but battled them one pitch away from having a quality start. So there are the numbers for Jeremy Guthrie.
And we get ready to go as Guthrie prepares to make the first pitch to Jacoby Ellsbury, leading it off, hitting .301, and it is up high. I'll just stand here all night and not even have to say a word. And just so long as I can be beside him, I know everything will be fine.
Well, this is
Brooks
exciting.
Robinson is with us here.
Thank you.
In the booth. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Gary. It's thank you. It's a wonderful night for baseball, isn't it?
It's a gorgeous
Unbelievable.
Well, you made Melvin very happy.
Oh, that was good. Well, Melvin asked me not too long ago, and I've met Melvin a few times, but just to be here and to present him with that base meant a lot to him and me, too. I was happy to be there.
Well, great to see you. Now, I know you've had some health issues.
Yeah.
You look great.
I feel great, thank you. I had a little setback, but I'm doing well.
So, in the comeback, I heard that you were telling Dempsey you're going to have to make a comeback.
I said if Melvin gets close to 2,800 games, I will make a comeback. That's the only one bad thing about it. I can dive and catch him, but I can't get up.
Melvin was telling me before the game, Brooks, the one thing he remembers was what you told him when he started playing third base for the Orioles about what that position meant. There's a base hit. How tough it was to play down there and about doing it day in and day out for a career. You talk about that. What'd you say to him?
Well, basically, I said, it's a reflex position more than anything else, Gary, and a lot of concentration. And I signed as a second baseman, and they saw I was going to get killed over there, so I didn't cover much ground. So they said, we'll move you over there and let you knock him down and throw him out. So that was really the key. But I told him just to hang in there. He came here as not an everyday player, and he made himself an everyday player and could play shortstop anywhere, and he ended up at third base and does a terrific job down there. But I said, hey, it take you a little while to get used to it over there, but he's really played extraordinary.
Well, he thinks the world of you, I'll tell you that, because he couldn't talk enough about what you did for him when he came up here and how much it helped. Here's Dustin Pedroia. Guthrie with a runner on. Here's Waiter's throw, one hopper, and it is not in time. And it'll be a stolen base for the league's leading base stealer. Ellsbury's on at second.
Yeah, 62nd stolen base. Brooksy, you what, for a career? Maybe 62?
No, not quite. I think Boog Powell had more than I did, so we won't talk about that.
Well, yeah, he can. Yeah, you get him on, and that's what he does with a single. Let me ask you. You touched on something. Young man came up to me today. He said, I had Mike Messina, and you always used to say nice things about him, but he was my coach up in Montoursville, and he taught me how, number one, how to treat people, how to always kind of have a level head. You never showed anybody up. You're the nicest guy that I've ever met, and not to mention a Hall of Fame gifted 16-time Gold Glove. Where did that come from?
I guess it came from my upbringing. My mother and dad, I'm pretty much like they were. They were kind of easygoing, Jim. But hey, I just wanted to play baseball. That was it. I tell people, look, I'm not in the Hall of Fame because of my great ability, but I did some things well. But my love for the game, I think, overrode everything else. It was a passion with me, and it still is. I love to put on the uniform and go about being around the baseball game.
We certainly love having you here. We want to take you back a little bit. I didn't know this until this morning, Brooksy, when I was looking. This was the same date in 1977. The Red Sox were playing the Orioles. Do you remember?
Yeah, absolutely. I never thought about that.
I didn't either. At Memorial Stadium, and here are some of the shots. Yeah. This was Thanks Brooks night at Memorial back in 1977 on this very same date against the very same team.
Well, that was a wonderful day, and it was hot. I remember that, and the fans really came out, which was wonderful. And the little girl you saw in there, well, that's my grandson with me tonight. He's having a ball down here. Markakis is his favorite player, so he got his autograph, and it couldn't have worked out any better.
Can we meet him? Would you?
Yeah, sure. Come on in here. This is Grant Farley here, and we've had a busy day. He's got on a
Grant, how are you?
Right here.
There you go. There's Grant.
Yeah, he's having a good day today.
Grandpa taking you to the ballpark? Is it Grandpa to you? Yeah. Did you meet Nick Markakis?
Yeah.
He signed a ball or anything for you?
Yeah.
Good man. All right.
Do you play baseball?
Yeah.
Third base?
Yeah.
Next year I am.
No. Next door. Did you say next door like Cal or what?
He too started at second. That one's going to be popped up, and it will be handled for the out with the runner at second base, now one down. Brooks, it's just it's so wonderful to see you here. I want the folks should know this man is so involved, and not in the community, but in the Major League Players Alumni Association and with the BAT organization. You still do so much, and as always, you do it quietly. But thanks for all that.
Well, thank you, and I'll tell you what, Gary, I know you're the busiest guy around, and we've never asked you that you haven't come through and been the MC or anything we ask you to do, and we thank you. And Jim, of course, he's around all the time, and
well, yeah, I mean, we're honoring you on October 26th for the.
You don't have to come all the way from Florida to do that, but you probably will.
I've already got my ticket.
All right, well,
I'm buying a new suit.
You okay?
Decided it was worthwhile.
I'm putting it on your card, though.
Thanks for coming. That's okay too.
Let me ask you a question. You were talking with Rick Dempsey, and you said you like a lot of the young players the Orioles have. How long did it take you to feel comfortable at the major league level to really feel like you could just go out and play the game?
I was up and down. Of course, in '57, I made the team. I was 20 years old. I had a knee operation 2 weeks into the season. Then I went down to San Antonio, came back. I was here all of '58, had an Army obligation. Got out of the Army right when the season opened in '59. They sent me to Vancouver, and I didn't want to go because I was here all of '58, and I said, well, '59 is going to be my year. And of course, I went, and when I got back from Vancouver, I was just much more confident, playing every day, and that was a turnaround. What I thought was the worst thing that could happen to me turned out to be the best thing, because I went down and played with Ronnie Hansen, Wes Stock, Chuck Estrada. We had a terrific team in Vancouver, and a lot of those guys came up. But that was a turning point. I went down and played with guys my own speed, but when I came back, I was a little different player. And then 1960, I was third in the MVP voting behind Marison Mantle. So that 59, it turned out to be the best thing.
That one's going to be popped up as well, almost the same spot. And Victor Martinez, a red-hot hitter with a 16-game hit streak, retired. Ellsbury's still on, and there are two down. Before we let you go, Brooksy, because you are still a baseball fan, what do you see with the current Orioles?
Well, I see a lot of good things happening. I think we finally have some continuity, Gary. We've had, when you have 6 or 7 managers, 6 or 7 general managers, you can't win that way. And I think now we've got the right people in place, and I think they're going to do a good job. If you look back on the drafts the Orioles have had, we've had players coming up every year, 1 or 2 guys. And if you look back on the draft the last 25 years, if you're grading it, you'd have to say a D- or an E. It's been that bad. Yeah. So you got to draft the right people. You got to go out and get a free agent. You got to have a number 4 hitter, I think, next year to really help this club. You got to have someone who's going to drive in the runs, hit fourth. That's a big thing. But I see a lot. I mean, you got 5 or 6 guys in place with Weeders, the outfield, Roberts at second base. A lot of good things are going to happen. I know we're just kind of experimenting. I say we. The Orioles are just kind of experimenting right now, and getting used to seeing who the talent really is. And a lot of these players understand that. If they perform now, they've got a good chance of being on this club next year.
Brooks, we know you want to spend some time with your grandson here at the ballpark, but we are just so delighted to see you here, and thanks for taking time to join us. And you are always welcome here, Phil.
I love it. Thank you very much. Yeah, all right.
Great
Jim, thank you.
All right, give our best to Connie, too.
I sure will. Same
the Hall of Fame wife.
That is Brooks Robinson, of course, the Hall of Famer, third baseman here to honor Melvin Mora. And Brooksy joining us here on the day that he was remembering the night back in '77. And Melvin Mora got the base autographed by Brooks prior to the game today. And now we're going to let Brooks just enjoy a little baseball with his grandson. Runner at second base, and the pitch is taken down low by Kevin Youkilis. A 2-ball, 2-strike count on Youkilis. Guthrie trying to work his way around the Ellsbury base hit and the stolen base, and a chance to get out of it. And that'll be grounded down to third base. There is Melvin Mora, an appropriate way to end the first inning. Good job by Guthrie to get out of what could have been an offensive inning for the Red Sox prior to the game. There.
Take a look at our PNC scouting report on Clay Buchholz. Beat the Orioles just last week. Well, he's won his last 4 decisions. Has pitched very, very well. Owns lefties. No home runs, 129 at bats. And then he is a ground ball pitcher, almost 2-to-1. Unusual nowadays. Doesn't seem like he's a sinker baller, but got the good 2-seam fastball. But he's got 4 above average pitches, at least when he's on.
Felix Pie will lead it off. Nolan Reimold going on the DL for the remainder of the season without Achilles tendon problem. Pie is going to get more playing time along with Fiorentino. Now the Orioles have 2 of their starting outfielders out of there. Grounded down to first base. Kochman will take it to the bag, and Pie is retired, 1 away.
Yeah, they got their A defense tonight with Kochman at first. Bay, Ellsbury, Drew. That's the outfield. Youkilis won a Gold Glove over across the diamond at first. Gonzalez comes over from Cincinnati, solidified the infield defense. Pedroia won a Gold Glove last year. MVP. Kochman again can pick it. And then the only thing Victor Martinez can do, he calls a good game, doesn't throw very well. 1 out of 10. Of course, Veritek's 9 out of 109. So the one thing you can do if you get on, Terry Francona, their skipper, you can steal some bases if you get the right guys on.
They are 7 games behind the New York Yankees, so their hope right now of going to the postseason lies with maintaining their lead over Texas. As Torres is up and will take the pitch for his strike. As Torres batting second, he has gone 5 for 29 against the Red Sox on the season. Buchholz with his 1-0 record this year, 3-2 lifetime against the Orioles. 1 ball, 1 strike delivery is Torres, and that'll be taken down low. 77 degrees at game time, 13 degrees higher than what we had last night, and virtually no breeze. We're back to a late summer, early fall evening here at Camden Yards. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Outfield straight away, and that will miss up high, and it goes to 3-1. Only 30 walks surrendered by Buchholz, 71 innings, and only 49 strikeouts. So you don't get a lot of either. That walk number a little bit high for innings pitched. 3-1 is Torres to second base, and here come the ground balls. Pedroia 2 down.
Well, he came in 127 ground balls, 57 fly balls. I don't care where you pitch. That's not a bad ratio, especially in Fenway. He is better at home earned run average wise. He's 2-1 with a 272 on the road, 3-2. He almost gives up a hit per inning. But again, all his home runs are against right-handed batters. So he keeps the ball in the ballpark. And you got to understand, he first 17 starts this year. We're in the minor leagues, and look what he does against the American League East. Outstanding numbers.
Brian Roberts up. Brian Roberts batting third again, and good numbers against Buchholz. He has had 6 hits in 14 at bats against the Red Sox starter. Orioles just 2-13 against Boston in the year. And the O's are 2-2 in their current homestand, having split the 4 games with the Rays. Roberts taking all the way on that one in a 1 ball, 1 strike count. Dave Turnblay's ball club after their 61st win of the season. Orioles manager would like to get a series victory here against this Red Sox team. 1-1 delivery, and the pitch is inside from Buchholz. Then he falls behind 2-1. Orioles have just had such a struggle against this Red Sox team as they've won 10 straight series against the Orioles, including the first 5 this year. 2-1 pitch on the way. Roberts has got to get a base hit into left field. Bryan taking one the other way is on with a single. Buchholz was staring over at him as he rounded first base like, how'd you do that?
Well, you haven't been watching any film or haven't been sitting on a bench watching the game.
He stared at him all the way down the line.
Well, it is the big leagues, and you face the best hitters in the world, and Bryan is up there in the top echelon. He can do so many things, leading the American League in doubles. The Orioles, of course, would love, and Nick would love, to get back on track. It's been a little bit of a struggle lately. A little different stance tonight. He spread out a little bit. He's been upright the second half of the year.
2 down here. He takes that one to center field. Hit it deep. Ellsbury back at the wall, and he's got it. Straight away center field and just missed. He completed one. No score. DC. Sandia got a chance to win $99 worth of American Classic scratch-off tickets from the Maryland Lottery for every Oriole home run hit tonight, and you can have a chance to win too. Enter in MASNsports.com. Guthrie goes to work here against Ortiz, the designated hitter. David Ortiz has certainly had an interesting roller coaster season, to the point of where some wondered whether he could still play this game anymore. And he has answered the call in the post All-Star games by coming up back with a long ball and driving in some runs. 24 homers and 83 RBIs. And he is now the all-time leader on the DH list. Home runs hit as a DH. That was the one that put him by Frank Thomas. And he's on here with a walk from Guthrie. 4 straight pitches.
Yeah, and he doesn't do that as much. It almost seems like this year, of course, he used to be a real high on-base percentage guy. When he went through, the first 2 months with 1 home run, that he goes, I'm not going to walk. I'm going to start hacking. And then he hit, June, July, and August, 7 home runs in each of those months. Much more aggressive than he used. I mean, in the sense that he used to take the walk. I don't think he wants to walk anymore.
No.
Wants to show him he can still hit.
Here is Jason Bay. He'll receive consideration as an MVP in the American League on a team that's got a couple of candidates. 3rd in home runs, 2nd in RBIs. He's got a 4-game hit streak coming in. And that one is just a bloop to second. Short hop. There's one. Turn to first, not in time. Ortiz retired on the forced play at second, but not enough time to get Bay.
Yeah, you knew you were going to get somebody. Bay runs very well, 13 steals, and he runs all the way. Watch him come out of the box, because if he doesn't, it's going to be a double play. Nice play by Brian Roberts. Of course, Ortiz doesn't want to get doubled up. Turns out, because he doesn't know if it's going to be caught or not. I couldn't really tell if he trapped it or not. But he's out. David is.
He thought he did, so that took care of that. Here is J.D. Drew. 1-0 count. Drew takes it outside. Guthrie got through the first inning, which is the toughest inning for him. If he gets through this inning, he'll get by the 2 best innings for the Red Sox offense this year. They've outscored opponents by 64 runs in the first 2 innings this season. Jeremy Guthrie already got through 1 rough spot, because his ERA in the first inning is 8.16. After that, it's cut in half.
Yeah, 26 runs in 28, almost 29 innings. And Jacoby steals the base after the single. I'm almost sure they're going to score it. Pedroia couldn't get him over. Then you got a couple of outs. Martinez tough out. Youthful's the ground out. And now all of a sudden your command's getting a little bit away. 4 straight pitches to Ortiz to walk him.
3-1 delivery, and he walks J.D. Drew. So 2 walks in the inning. Runners at first and second, and only 1 down. And Casey Kochman will come to the plate. Kochman getting the start at first base. Terry Francona said before the game the reason he was putting Kochman in, he said, I have got to get him some meaningful at bats, was the way Terry put it. Doesn't feel as though Kochman's been given enough chances at the plate, and he wants to do that here in the final couple of weeks of the season to make sure his bat is where they want it to be when it comes postseason time, if the Red Sox make it, as they probably will.
Jeremy Guthrie, 103 pitches against the Yankees, 12 hits in 5 2/3 innings, 32 changeups. But for me, watch Matt Wieters' glove, because it's all about fastball command. Very difficult against this lineup not to command your fastball. Man, he's missing tonight. That looked like it might have been a changeup, but he's just out of the zone. So you got to really just kind of go back and go, okay, because pitching is so much feel. What do I got to do to get back on track? And all these guys, I mean, you know, Kochman, not a lot of bats against Jeremy Guthrie, but good numbers, 4 for 29, 3 for 7. Youkilis probably has the least amount of good numbers, but Ortiz over 300, Pedroia over 300. There's your blowing away fastball.
Got that one in, and the count will go to 2 balls and 1 strike on Casey Kochman. Kochman's going to be an asset for this ball club, coming over from the National League where he had 282. He had 298 at bats with the Red Sox, 55 at bats in 25 games coming into this one. 2-1 delivery, and that's going to be down the line in right field. Bay's going to make the turn, up with it. Here's the throw. It'll come through, but it won't be in time. Fiorentino, not enough arm on a possible play at the plate. An RBI for Kochman and a 1-0 Boston lead.
Now the combination of the ball slicing away, and Kochman, he's a line drive hitter. Came up with the Angels, traded to Atlanta. It's a pretty good pitch, but his approach is impeccable. The thing Fiorentino cannot do is throw. He does not have a good arm. Tough chance anyway.
So credit Kochman with the RBI. Rick Krenitz immediately out to the mound now as Guthrie, as Jim said, falling behind here in the inning with 2 walks and then fell behind on Kochman. Runners still on at first and second base. Drew down at second, Kochman on at first base, and the number 9 hitter. Here's Gonzalez, Alex Gonzalez, the shortstop, hitting just .210 in 68 games in the National League, and then came over and has a .290 average with the Red Sox.
With some power.
In a spot where they needed some help because of injuries. They thought they were pretty well taken care of at short. Then all of a sudden Lowry goes down, Green goes down, and they're looking. And here was the answer. 0-1 count. 1 away. A run in for Boston here in the second inning. And he fouled it away. 0-2.
Yeah, good pitch. I don't know what Rick Krenitz told him. Maybe get ahead. First time he's ever faced Alex Gonzalez. But very difficult to get a good hitting lineup, and they come in 3rd in the American League in runs scored. Tough to get them out when you get behind, because you come very predictable. They can just sit on your fastball.
0-2 count. And a looper to right. Nick Markakis almost in place, and he's got it. Throw will come into the cutoff man. And there are 2 down here with Gonzalez out of there. Join Orioles Reach and the Oriole Advocates for the Cardboard to Leather collection. It's going to be tomorrow before the O's Red Sox game. Volunteers at each entrance to accept donations of new and gently used baseball and softball equipment. Cash donations will be accepted. There'll be a silent auction inside Gate D, and all fans who do donate equipment will receive a Melvin Mora autographed player card. You can go to OriolesReach.com for details. But bear in mind that is for tomorrow night's game. Here's Ellsbury, a single his first time up. Jacoby Ellsbury now has extended his hit streak to 4 games with a .302 average, and he has hung right around that 300 mark much of the year. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Ellsbury is 9 for 24 with a home run lifetime off Jeremy Guthrie. Pretty select company for multi-hit games.
Oh, is it ever?
2 Yankees, Mariner, and a Bo Sox. Pitch is taken down low. 2 ball, 1 strike count on Ellsbury.
And then he turns those singles into doubles. That's why he scored. I mean, he comes out. I mean, he can score runs with the best of them. He had gone 178 at bats until he hit a home run the other night. So he's not a home run guy, even though he can hit home runs.
Yeah, that home run he got last night snapped a 42-game stretch where he had gone without the long ball. And the last one he got was against the Orioles on July 31st, prior to the one he hit last night.
Yeah, you know, you look at the way they early on they tried Julio Lugo, then they tried Ellsbury, he struggled, then they went to Pedroia, he struggled, Drew, and then all of a sudden he got his feet under him and they brought him back into the leadoff spot, and he's done a great job.
And a check swing and a fastball, and he went around. He's not happy about it. Call made at third by Brian Knight. Ellsbury standing at the plate, staring at the home plate umpire. Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com, and by PNC. PNC leading the way. Red Sox take the 1-0 lead as we go to the bottom half of the second inning. Laura, Wieters, and Scott will be due up against Clay Buchholz, the 25-year-old right-hander. And a grounder down to third will be fouled. Melvin comes in with a 4-game hit streak, as he has had a very fine September after the month of August did not treat him very kindly. Lifetime 278. See the games at third behind Brooks Robinson, Doug DeSenses, and Cal. He was like a kid again tonight before the game. He was effervescent talking about Brooks Robinson coming here to present him with that base. He told me, I'm going to make sure I want my kids to meet him. So he had him, as you saw, down on the field, and as soon as he walked out, he motioned the kids over so they could be out there with Brooksy. He went around on that one in a 1-ball, 2-strike count.
Well, think about it in the history of the game. Everybody goes, well, who's better? Who was, was it Mike Schmidt or was it Brooks Robinson? But even to be in the conversation tells you how good Brooks was.
I don't have a problem with that vote.
No. Well, maybe, obviously Mike Schmidt, home run guy, and Brooks, different players, but Mike Schmidt could do everything, but it just, and there you go.
There are the kids.
The Mora clan.
Yeah, all out there with Brooks getting a picture taken. That'll be up on the wall shortly. Great family. 2-ball, 2-strike count on Melvin. And he had to reach for that and pops it up short. Gonzalez. A couple of ground ball outs and a couple in the air. That'll bring up Matt Wieters. Matt has had success against this Red Sox pitching staff and the chances he's had to face them. He is 13 for 32. That's a 4.06 average. No home runs. Does have a couple of RBIs against the Red Sox on the season. That is in there for a strike from Buchholz.
Well, he was my player of the game. Jim Hunter was trying to get an edge because he always has that daily contest with Rick Dempsey, who's going to be the Orioles star of the player. I went with Wieters. And he looked at me like I was crazy, but he is 2 for 3 lifetime offer, and he's been swinging the bat well. The problem for Matt and the rest of the lineup is this guy's on a roll. I mean, he's got 4 pitches. He showed them all when he pitched against the Orioles back on the 8th of September. I mean, he's got 4 above average major league pitches, and he's been able to command them.
Matt Wieters again had to reach. That'll go to second. Pedroia on the charge. And there are 2 down. For Buchholz, during the stretch in which he's gone 4-0, it's a 6-game run. 4 wins, no losses, 2 no decisions. The ERA in those 6 games is 3, and even 3. I mean, that's not much. And he's beaten some real good ball clubs, Tampa Bay, Toronto, the White Sox, in that stretch. 2 down, nobody on. Here is Luke Scott, designated hitter. Luke 0 for 7 lifetime off Buchholz. Luke 2 trying to pick it up to go out with the bat on fire. He had a tough month of August. Scott has come back, picked up a couple of home runs here in the month of September, but hitting just $190 this month.
Yeah, the problem for Luke in this matchup is that Buchholz got a great curveball and a great changeup. And the one thing about Luke in the Tampa Bay series, he hit a lot of balls well. In New York, he hit a couple balls that most likely would have gone out. Wind was blowing in at least the first 2 games of that 3-game series. So it's not a good matchup for him, because for a young pitcher, Buchholz can finesse you pretty well.
And he's got confidence pitching against the Orioles. I mean, the no-hitter didn't hurt that, and he's 1-1 this year, and he's 3-2 lifetime. So you got to get to him and make him start thinking. 2-1 delivery. The shift is on as they move the shortstop over, Gonzalez. They leave Youkilis to play at shortstop, the third baseman.
And he said that ball was inside off the corner, and it probably was by an inch or 2.
Hunter Wendelstedt has the plate, having the brief discussion. Orioles the last couple of nights have had their discussions with the home plate umpire about the strike zone. Dave Tremblay getting thrown out last night. Popped up, long run for Youkilis, and to no avail. Then I saw the umpires who did the Angels game against the Yankees have filed a protest with the league about how the coaches were getting on them during the course of the game. I don't ever remember that.
Well, and also what happens is to get to your umpiring room after the game, you have to walk through the visiting dugout at Fenway Park. So that's where a lot of the agitation came. So and they said Mike Scioscia didn't do a whole lot to control his coaches, which are apparently.
That's always a bad thing when you have the runway that goes. The worst is where you have both teams going through the same runway. That has happened in the NHL and the NBA at times. The second worst is when you have the officials going through one of the runways that either team uses.
Yeah, I mean, here at Camden Yards, you just the umpires walk straight back, so exactly. They don't confront either of the teams. But at Fenway, because built in 1912, they don't have that alleyway for them.
That's an invitation to problems.
Oh, is it ever? Especially on a check swing, you thought the game was over, then you end up losing.
Luke Scott got one way back in right field, and see ya goodbye home run. Onto the flag court. Scott delivers the homer off Buchholz, and the Orioles have tied it up at 1.
Well, there's the changeup, and that changeup changes directions in a hurry. This ball is clobbered. And you could see the paw. It's almost like a palm ball. And it gets launched.
And our look brought to you by Northrop Grumman, the information systems powerhouse. So the Orioles get the homer. That is the first home run Clay Buchholz has surrendered to a left-handed batter this year. It is the 7th he's given up. and it ties this ball game. Number 23 for Luke Scott. Ty Wigginton, and he will take the pitch down low. Wigginton has homered off Buchholz as well, lifetime. He's got a couple of hits and 4 at-bats, including a homer. And Buchholz just kind of crunched his shoulders together watching that one go out.
Well, it was impressive.
It was.
It was only 1 run, unfortunately. Good slider. That's the pitch that I had never seen him throw, Gary, even in the no-hitter. But he, up in Boston when he beat the Orioles, he threw it to Wigginton, and it was pretty effective. So again, that's a quality slider that just darts down and away. That's what Wade Davis used last night as part of his arsenal.
Wigginton reaching. The home run that was hit by Scott is the 17th he has hit here at Camden Yards. Luke has 17 at home and 6 on the road. And that is the second hit for the Orioles in the ballgame.
It kind of reflects, it reflects what the Orioles have done. You know, they play well at home, only a couple of games, 3 games under, but 23 games under on the road.
Got him to chase on that one. Buchholz gets the strikeout, but Luke Scott gets the homer, a run on a hit with this swing of the bat. He launched one into the flag court and ties the game.
Earlier, as he was honoring Melvin Moran for moving into the second spot rather, for the most games played at third base for an Oriole. And Melvin told me when he first started his career, he never thought he'd be a third baseman. He said Bobby Valentine, when he was with the Mets, put him in center field when he was a young player, and he thought, wow, I have a job in the big leagues and I'm going to be a center fielder. It wasn't until he came to the Orioles, and then in 2004, Lee Mazzilli moved him over to third base, and he said, I was a little nervous. I knew Cal Ripken Jr. had played there, and he said one thing he remembers most about moving over there is how the fans kind of cut him a break. He said those first 2 weeks, it felt like I made 5 errors at third base, and the fans never booed me, and they've always supported me here in Baltimore, and that's one thing I'll always remember, Gary.
Very sincere about that for Melvin Moran, and it was truly a position he had to learn and came to love playing down there, and still does.
He played the Oriole coaching staff in the coaching room the other day were talking about, obviously Melvin hasn't had the year offensively he would like, or even the Orioles, but third base has been spectacular. That's how well he's played this year.
Strike on the outside, Pedroia.
Yeah, he was a shortstop and center fielder when he came over.
And he was a pretty good outfielder.
Yeah,
he played a pretty decent game, but he had to battle Mookie Wilson. 2 ball, 2 strike out on Pedroia, down to first base, and that's going to be a base hit. An inside-out swing over the glove of Wigginton, and Pedroia's got a 10-game hit streak now, leading off the inning with a single. Orioles and Red Sox will continue their final series of 09 here at Oriole Park tomorrow, 7:05, and Sunday, 1:35. Great seats still remain for each game. Spend one more weekend at Camden Yards before the offseason begins, with tickets starting as low as $15. 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com. And it is a gorgeous night to be here. Here's Martinez. Popped out his first time up. A 16-game hit streak. As good as they knew he was when they acquired him, they could not possibly have imagined how much he was going to mean to this team.
Yeah, well, the Orioles went up to Boston last week, and they lost 10-0 in the second game, 4-4. He came in, pinch hit off of Danny Baez. First pitch, double, bases loaded double, off the wall in left center field. I've always felt, and you know, he came up through the minor leagues with the Cleveland Indians, and he was the MVP at AA, MVP at AAA, switch hitter that could hit. The word was that he didn't have a real good throwing arm, so he worked on that, so he got a little bit better. But it's always been about his at bat, and whatever pitch you throw, he can hit. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have I guess up and high and away and up and away.
1-1 in the air to left center field. That is deep. PA going back. Felix PA, and not going to get it. It comes off the wall. Fiorentino gets it in. They're sending the runner home. Here's the throw. Waiters has got it. Oh, what a tag! What a play by Matt Waiters. That ball was off on the first base side. He gloved it like a first baseman, and then came back and swiped the tag on, and gets the out. The relay throw coming from his Torres.
Yeah, we talked about his power. I mean, it's just not trying to hit home runs, but this is really the key in this play. They hit his Torres, and again, it doesn't hurt to be 6'5". He blocks the plate. Pedroia's got to go away. And boy, the swipe tag, and the first base umpire comes down to make the call. So great umpiring right there. Reaches back. Long enough arms to reach out in front of the plate and lean back and get him.
Big body proved to be mighty helpful right there as Dana DeMuth came down with the call. And a strike taken by Euclid, so a big defensive play right there all the way around. Credit Fiorentino with backing it up in the outfield. And then is Torres with a relay throw.
Yeah, there was no hesitation from Cesar. It's not a good idea for Guthrie to keep getting the leadoff guy on. And the Red Sox have done that in the first 3 innings.
0-1 delivery in the way, and that is rifled foul into the seats. Down at second base now is Martinez. I think they'll credit him with a double on that because he was going to get there. Kevin Euclid gets the RBI chance as Martinez down at second. Guthrie with a lot of help from his defense. Gets an out in the inning. Jeremy's retired 65% of leadoff batters, but not in this game. And that is outside, and a 1-ball 2-strike count on Kevin Euclid. Talking about MVP candidates in the league, certainly Kevin Euclid is going to be given great consideration. He has really lugged the Red Sox at times this season. Fouled off, and a 1-ball 2-strike count.
Yeah, the other guy will come up in a couple of hitters, and that's Jason Bay. He's had a spectacular year. Euclid's a better defensive player, and for this team, because of injuries to Lowell and having to rest him, he can just move right across from first to third and actually not hurt your defense at all.
1-2 is up high for a ball. Count goes to 2 balls and 2 strikes on him. The on-base percentage leader, Joe Mauer. Right behind him, Kevin Euclid, then A-Rod, Miguel Cabrera, and Sean Figgins. And those top 4 all made a huge difference to their respective teams' offenses. Euclid will foul it off. He's hitting .358 with runners in scoring position this season. So Jeremy Guthrie with another real tough out. Try and hold the Red Sox off the board here in a 1-1 ball game in the 3rd inning. Martinez getting a decent lead. Brian Roberts trying to hold him at least close. That's a towering fly ball. There might be a play on this. Fiorentino, it's coming back at him. Fair territory, even. Runner halfway. And Euclid is retired. 2 down.
Yeah, pretty routine at Camden Yards, but that'll take your breath away if you're at Fenway. You hit one down the line. I probably would have stayed in, but it would have been on the warning track.
One of those walls.
Oh, yeah.
Here is David Ortiz. Ortiz, designated hitter. Only .209 with runners in scoring position, even lower than that overall .232 average. But always the danger to launch one. Orioles put the shift on. Ortiz had a walk his first time up. Takes the pitch inside for a ball. There you see the big shift. Same one used against Scott by the Red Sox. 1-0. And another one. Third baseman Mora back. He's under it, and he's got it. So the Orioles deny the Red Sox on what looked like a scoring chance. Fiorentino backed it up, got it to his Taurus. Wieters had to take it on the first base side, blocked the plate, came back with a swipe tag. Celebrating the birthday of the United States Air Force, brought to you by DynCorp International. We serve today for a safe tomorrow. Panasonic Toughbook Computers, tough book for a tough world. And Navy Federal Credit Union, we serve where you serve. U.S. Air Force, happy birthday. The aerial warfare branch of the U.S. Armed Forces. Something they never want to be reminded of, and I know because I was in this other one. They were initially part of the United States Army, but now it's the U.S. Air Force, separate branch formed in 1947. They're celebrating the birthday, and we wish them a very happy birthday and thank all of you in the U.S. Air Force. Jeff Fiorentino will take it for a strike. Fiorentino batting in the 9 spot. Getting his first look at Clay Buchholz with his Lou Montañez bat model, and a 1-ball 1-strike count.
Hey, you wonder along the way, because Buchholz first half of the year, even though he had the best earned run average in spring training for the Red Sox, 17 starts down at AAA. Well, they might have crossed paths. And of course, he had a marvelous AAA year.
Making Buchholz throw, and he's going to miss on that, and the count will go to 2 balls and 1 strike. Buchholz did not make a major league start to July 17. 2-1. Fiorentino outfield fairly deep on him. They've given him quite a bit of room to lob one in, as he likes to do, and he'll foul it off.
Yeah, I was doing the game when Clay Buchholz pitched the no-hitter. He used to fall off to his left a little bit, and then last year 2-2, never won again in the next 10 starts, 2-9. So they sent him to the minor leagues. He worked on it, went to the Arizona Fall League, had a great spring.
Fiorentino puts that in the air to left field. Bay, 1 down. On Saturday, October 3, celebrate Oktoberfest at Oriole Park. The first 10,000 fans 21 and over that night versus the Blue Jays, by the way, are going to receive an Orioles tankard presented by Guinness. Plus, all weekend long, Fan Appreciation Weekend. Gather up with friends for a great night at the Yard to round out 2009. Tickets start as low as $9. 888-848-BIRD or Orioles.com. Felix P.A. First ball hitting, that'll send Bay back. Plenty of room, though. So Buckholz, who we told you is a pronounced ground ball pitcher, started the ball game out with a couple of ground ball outs. Since then, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4 put up in the air. So he's 50-50 right now.
Get an idea how small this ballpark does play, though. I mean, it's a pretty routine fly ball and right on the edge of the warning track. That's the ball again in Fenway. That's probably a double.
Cesar Torres batting second, grounded out first time up. 2 down, nobody on, and the pitch is taken for a strike. Series will continue tomorrow. David Hernandez 4-8 against John Lester, 13-7. Jason Birkin against Daisuke Matsuzaka, the scheduled starters on Sunday. And that one's going to be looped for a base hit. Well, he was able to find that safe space, and his Torres is on with a single. See, the batting leaders at the yards, 288 here at Camden Yards, 282 for the Angels. Kauffman, KC, Coors, Colorado, Metrodome, Twins. But 288 is the leading number for a team in the home ballpark.
Is that 4 teams? Both teams.
Both teams.
Yes. Orioles hit considerably better here at Camden Yards than on the road, and another number reflects that the Orioles also have the highest earned run average. Better here, though, at home by about a half a run, maybe even a little bit more than it is on the road. Actually, almost a run. 468, actually 467 here, 558. And again, that's why trouble winning on the road with that type of earned run average.
Yep.
Especially when your offense is not as good as it is at home. And I have no idea why that is. I mean, I know the other team gets to bat last, and if you go to Fenway, it's going to be sold out over 500 straight times, and Yankee Stadium is going to be 46 to 7,000 Yankee fans. Still baseball.
Yeah, but I mean, it obviously has an impact, and I asked Terry Francona about that, and he thinks that has a lot to do with it. I asked Dave Tremblay about it, and he said the same thing. He said the home ballpark advantage is really there in places like Fenway and Yankee Stadium. It just is a pressure that comes playing there, especially for a younger team. That is a strike taken. Brian Roberts. So the Orioles at home hitting 289 and 249 on the road.
Yeah, and then they give up 5.5 over 5.5 runs to the game, which is why it translates into 24 victories and 47 losses on the road. And that's the second consecutive year where the numbers have really been overwhelmingly bad on the road.
2 ball, 1 strike count to Roberts, runner at first base, and a strike taken. Brian not happy with that call. Brian singled his first time up.
Well, you just like, again, I mean, this is a hitting count, 2-1. So you're priding yourself, I'm going to get a pitch to hit. And the ball's off the corner. Anytime the catcher brings his glove back, you know it wasn't a strike, except Hunter Wendell's called it a strike. So the Orioles should have been used to it the way the last umpiring crew was, with the exception of Mike Demura, who had a terrific game.
2-2, runner at first. Ball off the fist, left field. Bay. He's got it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left on base. Solid 3 for the pitchers. 1-1.
Warehouse Bar on Utah Street. Plenty of big screen HD TVs to catch all the action on Masson. Plus, each game, the Orioles Radio Network's O's All Access pregame show is broadcast live from the bar with Tom Davis and Dave Johnson from 1 hour before the game right up to game time. Don't miss the bar's pregame specials and postgame fun. The Bud Light Warehouse Bar on Utah Street. Gary?
Some folks over there tonight after the ball game. Here is Jason Bay, and the pitch is a strike on the outside corner. Bay hit into a fielder's choice. Talked about the great numbers he has and the tremendous season. The Orioles staff is the one he has struggled most against, hitting .204 against the Orioles this season with only 1 home run. And Jeremy Guthrie would like to share in that because Bay is 5 for 10 with 2 home runs lifetime off him. Lifetime. That one is going to be fouled away.
I said Jeremy the other day, I said I didn't realize that Bay could drive the ball the other way so well. He said, well, didn't you see the home run he hit over the bullpen in Boston off me? I said, well, actually, I was doing that game. Glad you brought it up, but he's aware of it. But he did make a good pitch the first time, jammed it.
0-2 delivery will ride up high on Bay. Jeremy Guthrie with a 5.06 ERA and a couple of losses against this Red Sox team this year. He has won only 1 game in his career against Boston. 1-4 this season. Not one of those. He's had 10 career starts, a 4.75 ERA, which isn't all that bad. 10 starts against the Red Sox. 1-2 delivery, and Bay will pay a pain price on that one off his foot.
Well, part of the equation for beating good teams is that your team plays well. They support you well. I mean, you have to do your part, pitch well. How about when the Orioles played the Yankees? I mean, Pettit was getting 5.8 runs a game, Sabathia 5.9. Still have to go out and pitch.
Oh, did he get that one? Way back in left field. Goodbye, home run. Jason Bay, 2-1 Red Sox.
I don't know if it's a backup slider or a changeup that hangs up, but you want to see some bat speed. Check out the replay of this home run. I mean, this is what he was going to do for the Pirates till he hurt his shoulder. I mean, it's right in the middle of the plate, letter high, and he hammers it.
Right off the mark, you knew that was gone. So Bay's got 34. He is 3rd in the league in homers, and the home runs allowed jump up on Guthrie again. He has the most in the American, 2nd most in the majors at 31. That one in the air to right center field off J.D. Drew. PA is there, and Drew is retired. 1 away here in the 4th inning. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield makes a donation to the Seed School of Maryland for every strikeout recorded by an Orioles pitcher this season. Orioles are piling them up, 844 strikeouts, which means Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield is that much closer to reaching the $25,000 goal. We thank Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield for their commitment to improving the health of the kids in the community through the wellness education programs. Oh, 1. And it is a strike taken. Casey Kochman at an RBI single his first time up. The Orioles staff continues to be the one that gives up the most home runs. Roberts not going to get it.
Yeah, nice night. When we saw Casey Kochman week before last when the Orioles were up in Boston, I said, how you doing? He said, well, if you like not playing a lot and facing the setup guys and the closers, when you do get to play, he said, I'm good. But again, he really does add a dimension because he can pinch hit. You know, I guess when he came up with the Angels, they were hoping he was going to hit 20, 25 home runs. That never materialized, but he could pick it over at first. Terrific fielder.
He's on at first base, just a short step away.
And the one thing about the Red Sox, when you watch them play and Mike Lowell plays third, he still hits well, but because of the hip surgery, it at least appears to me that the range has been diminished.
No, I don't think there's any question, and he plays in pain. as Nolan Reimold was playing in pain for much of this season until last night. You could just tell it was over. That Lowell has done that this season. He's had to go on the DL with it, and when he's out there some nights he literally limps. So the Red Sox fortunate that they have a Euclid. They can move over there and somebody else to play at first, and don't really lose a lot of offense, as good as Mike Lowell is when he comes out. There he is on the right, Mike and Dave Magadan, the hitting instructor. And Terry Francona wants to keep all of these veteran players as healthy as he can going to the postseason. So he's going to move some people around the final couple of weeks of the year. Swung on and a ground to the third as Torres on a short hop. Brian Roberts got to hurry and not going to get him.
Pretty good breaking ball from Jeremy Guthrie, so he's going to get watch Gonzalez get out on his front foot, hit it with one hand, but he hits it so slowly, and because he actually gets a running start, he easily beats it.
He will reach on the fielder's choice. There are now 2 down. 2-1 lead for Boston, and the top of the order, Jacoby Ellsbury is singled, struck out, down to short, Force at second. Roberts not going to get there. Good play by Torres. He realized he was going to have to gun that to get Ellsbury, and did. Bay the home run. Red Sox get the lead. In this game, Bay third in home runs, second in RBIs. Nick Markakis eighth in multi-hit games, sixth in hits, and sixth in doubles. Jason Bay, Nick Markakis, note the outfield assists. They are 1 Bay, 2 Markakis in the American League.
Yeah, Nick maybe a little bit more difficult because he plays right field, and Bay, Fenway, they run, but they're both great all-around players. I always thought that Jason Bay was a more one-dimensional player, just a home run guy, but you find out he can throw, he can steal bases.
Can he play first base?
Yeah, well, he might be able to.
Yes, he might.
You know, one of those power hitters that obviously as a free agent a lot of teams will look at. And the personalities are very much alike. They hardly ever say anything, just show up and play hard, and are very successful at what they do.
0-1 delivery, slapped right out at him. Markakis to Bay. So Nick is on with a leadoff single here in the 4th inning, and that'll bring up Melvin Mora, whose flash of the leather this season, as in other years, has made a big difference for the Orioles in cutting guys down. And here's hero Brooks Robinson on hand tonight to recognize him. With the games played at third base number is now it's Brooks 1 and Melvin 2. Now Melvin would like to get the bat involved. Popped out his first time up. Markakis on with the Orioles' 4th hit off Buchholz. Melvin with a 1 for 7 lifetime off the Red Sox starter. wants the signs again from Martinez. Victor Martinez behind the plate. Buchholz 10 wins, 13 losses lifetime, major league level. Here's the 0-1 delivery. Mora will take the fastball inside, and will even the count up at 1 ball and 1 strike.
Yeah, it appears to me what he has done is thrown a lot of two-seam fastballs which run a little bit. You saw that ball run and almost get Melvin in the knee, and that's how he gets a lot of ground balls. And when he pitched the no-hitter, it was more four-seamers, so he was up in the zone more.
Really slowing the pace down now, Buchholz.
Well, you'd like to, because you can't hit home runs with the Red Sox, not the Orioles. So you'd really like to advance the leadoff runner.
Markakis goes, slow roller, only play is going to be at first, barehanded. Youkilis guns it and got him by just that much.
Well, you get rid of Longoria. Evan Longoria and the Rays leave town, go home, and then you get Youkilis. Watch this play. Won a Gold Glove across the diamond at first. Now he's just coming off back spasms. He had some back spasms and missed 3 games. So he just gets him, and again, Kochman a very good fielding first base, the great stretch, and it does make the difference.
Good call by Dana DeMuth. He had him just the foot coming down. Now the Orioles get a runner to second base, and Matt Wieters, who grounded out his first time up, will try and get him home and tie this ball game up again. Markakis off second. Wieters, that goes all the way to the backstop. That went right through Victor Martinez.
That looked like a little changeup or something. Varitek the last 2 nights has had balls go under him. They're both wild pitches, and because this ball bounces, it will be a wild pitch out in front of home plate. It just skids. I think that Victor Martinez thought it would come up, and it just stayed underneath.
That's the first wild pitch Buchholz has thrown this year in the 75 innings that he's worked. Now the infield's going to move in halfway and probably come in closer on the pitch.
Well, ground ball pitcher, not a lot of speed if he gets on, and then you have the better bullpen, so why not try to cut the runner off?
Matt Wieters will take it up high for a ball.
But we have seen Wieters with the ability now. I mean, he hit a home run, 3-run shot, sacrifice fly early on against Tampa Bay, so a little bit more depth for looking for pitches, trying to get a ball in the air. Good count to do it.
Hitting .283 in September. Wieters will foul that one off, and a 2-ball, 1 strike count. He had that tremendous series against the Tampa Bay Rays, where he had a couple of game-winning RBIs, including the walk-off home run. He went 5 for 13 with 2 homers, 4 runs, and 9 RBIs in that 4-game series. Infield in even closer now. They've moved all the way in. 2-ball, 1 strike count. Bobby Valentine, I think, was the first one I saw to use that maneuver of bringing the infield halfway in and then charging on the pitch. The infielders would literally run as the pitcher was delivering the ball and get in right on the edge of the grass.
Well, don't you think it's easier to catch it on the grass than right on the edge of the infield? It makes sense to me.
Now they're almost all the way in here. But you see, they still move. It also creates a motion in the hitter's peripheral vision that's going on all around, whether you're right or left-handed. Buchholz, 3-ball, 2 strike count, 1 down. Orioles have the potential tying run. Nick Markakis on at third. Here's the 3-2 delivery, and he walked it. First walk surrendered by Buchholz in the game, and the Orioles have first and third covered with 1 down. He got it, and he got it out of here. Luke Scott delivering the homer, his 23rd in the 2nd inning off Buchholz. First home run by a left-hander against Buchholz, and home runs among the Orioles. Scott continues to be the leader.
I told Adam Jones today, I mean, he still has the soft cast and walking boot. I said, you're walking pretty good even without the boot. Early on in the clubhouse, I said, just late, pinch hit, point, hit your home run, get 20.
Don't give him
limp
ideas.
back to the couch.
Don't give him ideas. Fouled off.
Said he can't quite bend it yet.
That would be a problem.
Yeah.
To play with.
Well, no, I said not if you hit a home run, you get a designated runner. Well, the changeup for the home run, he had been 0 for 7. And right there, two-seamer down and away. Of course, Luke's trying to get a ball in the air, get the game tied, and Buchholz is thinking strikeout or maybe one of those ground balls for a double play. They don't put the shift on now. I mean, the shortstop is almost right behind second base, but not the conventional shift they usually play.
Here's the 0-1 delivery on the way. Luke Scott will chop it foul at the plate. 0-2. Luke here at Camden Yards this year, hitting .274 and .235 away. We've talked about how well the Orioles have played at home and struggled on the road. Not to the degree, but a problem for Boston. The Red Sox are 52-22 at home. They are 3 games under 500 on the road.
And they will start the playoffs on the road.
Probably in Los Angeles.
Or wherever they start. I mean, it looks like they're going to be the wild card team. So they will play at least the first 2 on the road. And then if they get to the championship series, they will start on the road.
0-2 delivery.
Oh.
And it's hard to tell. The Red Sox on the road, their numbers both offensively and pitching wise are both a little off compared to home, as they've scored 640 runs on the road, 688 at home. The ERA is 3.82 on the road, 4.64 at home. So they score enough runs at home to have a higher ERA and win. On the road, they don't. Even though the ERA is a little lower, they still lose games there because the offense isn't as good. That is taken inside for a ball, and Luke Scott working the count here. You see the Red Sox, there are the home and road numbers, and again, nobody knows why it works that way. They're not widely divergent, but it's just enough to make the difference in tight games, and the Red Sox do play a lot of those.
Yeah, if you score less and pitch worse, you're going to lose some games.
It's going to get up to that one run.
Yep.
Or 2 that will cost you.
Well, that's one run over 162 games, so that's a lot of runs.
Here's the 2-2 delivery, and that is going to take it full. So a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Buchholz trying to get Scott to chase a couple of pitches, and he refused. Markakis on at third base. Wieters on at first.
Now remember, Martinez is 1 for 10 throwing runners out, but I think if you had a little more speed at first, you might start the runner. Try to stay out of the double play, but I don't think they'll start him. Maybe wrong.
So you saw the catcher Martinez waving there. He was waving at Gonzalez to make sure of coverage at second. 3-2 delivery on the way, and Scott just gets enough of that to foul it off. It's sinker, and it stays at 3-2.
See, the Orioles know Buchholz because they faced him 2 other starts before tonight. He will throw any pitch in any count. And for youngsters, that's pretty amazing. So there's Luke just trying to stay alive. And it's not just the changeup. He hit that for a home run, but he's got the big overhand curveball, which he hasn't thrown much tonight.
Interesting to see if he saves that for next time around the order.
Yeah, he did that up in Boston. And much more effective as the innings got deeper in Fenway Park.
3-2 count, 1 down. Wieters at first, not going. Scott fouls it back again.
That was that hook we talked about. Hung it.
Real battle, Scott and Buchholz.
And just trying to get on top of you. Can see it spinning. There's your Expo. And again, it's up in the zone, but just actually hung it a little, probably perfect. Not perfect to hit, but perfect for a hanger. Just a little out of the strike zone, and Luke trying to stay alive at 3-2.
And look, you watch the catcher, Martinez. Take your time. Wanted him to step off, wouldn't give him the sign. He wanted him to wait. (3-2) again. Runners off first and third. And that one is going to be popped up to very shallow centers. Shortstop Gonzalez will make the play. And Scott unable to get that runner in from third. And now there are 2 down. A big out for Buchholz.
Well, he made a great 3-2 pitch. Scott likes the fastball, but not in on the fist, and that's where he threw it.
Ty Wigginton now. Flied out or struck out rather, the only strikeout that Buchholz has in the ball game. Wigginton, 233 with runners in scoring position. A base hit will tie this ball game up. Outfield will stay back deep on Ty Wigginton. Buchholz with 2 away, and it is outside for a ball. Wigginton getting some playing time over at first base and a little bit at third, and he's used it to his advantage, hitting .297 in September. So he's having his best offensive month when given the chance to play here. 1-0 count. Markakis and Wieters off third and first. Wigginton takes it away again. That's the one he chased with a strikeout the last time up, 2-0.
You know, I was asking him yesterday, you know, I know you'd like to hit more home runs, the average slowly creeping up. He said, and it's kind of strange. He said, you know how you talk about trying to pick the ball up. He said, I usually have a rectangle about 10 feet out. And when the ball gets into it, that's what he said, I can't find that rectangle this year. So he just really has struggled being able to hit for power.
And that one's going to be popped up the center. Jacoby Ellsbury. And he's got it. And Buchholz works his way out of the jam. Orioles will leave a couple. It remains 2-1.
Shutdown for the season. He went on the disabled list today. On Wednesday, he will undergo surgery to repair what he called a frayed Achilles tendon. It's been bothering him for a long time. A tough break for Nolan because he was having a great year. Right now, he leads AL rookies in 5 different categories. He is a candidate for Rookie of the Year. Now, today, Dave Tremblay did say they have not ruled out adding another outfielder because, remember, now Adam Jones and Nolan Reimold are both gone. If they do decide to go that route, it could be Lou Montañez. That's the most likely candidate. He's not on the 40-man roster right now, but what they could do is move Reimold to the 60-day disabled list to make room for Lou Montañez. But that decision has yet to be made. And also, I did have a little contingent behind me, Gary, of kids that were trying to get on TV. They wanted to say hi to everybody. Gary?
Well done. And they did. Here is Dustin Pedroia. The decision probably Amber's talking about will be made over the weekend here for the road trip coming up, since the Orioles have an extended road trip. 1-1 delivery. Pedroia will take the ball to right field at Markakis. He'll make the play. Pedroia 1 for 3 with a single in the ball game. 1 down here in the 5th inning. Celebrate Oktoberfest at Oriole Park on Saturday, October 3. There'll be a special pregame themed buffet in Camden Yards bullpen picnic area. German foods, beer selections, Guinness, Hart, Smittix, and more. Space is limited, so don't miss your chance. Oktoberfest coming up. 888-848-BIRD, Orioles.com. That's on Saturday, October 3. Martinez a double, now with a 17-game hit streak. And we'll take the pitch for a ball. Nope. He's making sure he stays in the lineup. He is 9th in the American League with 97 RBIs, 10th best road average at 320 coming into today's play, and he has picked up 21 hits and 58 at bats during the 17-game hit streak.
Yeah, he can play a little first base for you. Probably hurt yourself a little bit compared to Kochman defensively to make up with the bat. I was thinking after the first pitch, first time that Jeremy Guthrie has gotten the leadoff batter out, maybe an easy inning. Pitch count now at 83.
There's one for the Rain Gods and Fiorentino.
Ooh.
Just got his first out of the way there, and there are 2 down.
And Terry Francona lets Victor Martinez swing away 3-0.
Terry's playing this game as though it's going to be a very close ball game. He had the infield drawn in that last half inning. That was only in the bottom of the 4th inning, and trying to let Martinez pop one. Here's Youkilis with 2 down, nobody on. Jeremy Guthrie has walked 2, struck out 1, gotten out of a couple of jams. Red Sox have just the 2 runs on 6 hits off him. The big blow, the home run by Bay, is 34th. The go-ahead right now, and Kochman got an RBI single. The Orioles have the home run by Luke Scott. Guthrie looking for his 11th win of the season. 2-0 delivery. Youkilis will take it for a strike. Pretty good performance by a 8th round selection. Kevin Youkilis, 2001 draft. A lot of teams went by him a number of times, and what they passed up on, obviously, they'd all like to have a shot at again. A Major League 289 hitter, career coming in, batting .312 right now, and he takes it for a strike.
I think that probably even the Red Sox would tell you they didn't realize that how hard this guy was going to work to be the player that he is. I mean, the athlete performance every winter, strength, agility, doesn't like to make outs, great intensity.
Never wavers from not only game to game, but at bat to at bat. He draws the 3rd walk surrendered by Guthrie, and that'll bring up David Ortiz. Ortiz has also drawn a walk, and he has popped out. He is 7 for 22 with 2 home runs lifetime off Jeremy Guthrie. Real good ball game here in the first of 3. Ortiz fouls it straight back. That's the one he wanted.
Yeah, a little late on it. It's funny when you're out on the mound, and part of pitching well is reading back where it is in the location. And when it gets out in front and you're paying attention, you know you better go to a different zone, different type of pitch. But he was just a little tardy on that.
0-1 delivery, fouled outside to first.
So of course, what does he do? He comes back with a slider, speeds up the bat, and he smokes it foul. It's one of those ones you're lucky that he didn't hit it out of here.
Ortiz 0-2.
And you're wondering what went on with Jason Bay.
Now Reddick in the on-deck circle. 0-2 count, 2 down. Falling back on the bag is Kevin Youkilis. A relatively short lead.
Well, he's had the back spasm.
Well, he's not going anywhere.
No. Not with Ortiz up and 2 outs.
Here's the 0-2 delivery on the way. Ortiz check swing. It has to be tantalizing, even for David Ortiz, to look down that left field line and see there isn't anybody this side of shortstop. Those half swings we've seen result in hits before.
Yeah, up in Fenway, the last road trip for the Orioles. It was an excuse me, but it worked. But we have seen him bunt in years past.
0-2 delivery to him, and another foul ball, and it will stay at 2 strikes.
Tell you what,
good battles.
You know, David Ortiz has had a terrific career, but if every time a guy, if I was pitching, swings and is disappointed he didn't hit it out or didn't hit it hard, boy, that would just motivate me to want to get this guy out so much. And that's what he does, the facial, I mean, the body language.
How could I not have hit that out?
Yeah, right. Well, okay. That'd be like you looking at him when you get to first base. How did I not get? You know, that's what A.J. Burnett did it to Felix PA.
Yeah.
How did I let you hit a home run? Well, that didn't make Felix very happy.
No, and I don't agree with Felix. That's a showing up sort of thing that you don't need. 1-2 delivery. Ortiz off the end of the bat to Markakis. And he's got it. Good job by Jeremy Guthrie again. Base runner left on. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. 2-1 Boston. Robinson, the Gold Glove third baseman, the human vacuum cleaner, and the Hall of Fame on hand tonight to present Melvin Mora with that base. Melvin bringing the kids out as Melvin moves into second all-time in games played behind Brooksy. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. How much has the game changed since the time Brooksy played, which wasn't that long ago? Listen to what Brooksy said tonight on the pregame show.
I signed 23 one-year contracts for the Orioles. Never one time did a general manager say, well, Brooks, you know, you saved X amount of runs. It was always how many hits did you get, how many home runs, how many RBIs did you get. I mean, I held out for $500 for a whole week down in Florida one time trying to convince Harry Dalton, God rest his soul, that I deserve $500 more.
That's great, isn't it? And I compare that with Dustin Pedroia, who's a great player, but it's only his second year. He won the Rookie of the Year award, and Dustin got a 6-year deal that'll take him to 2015. Well, you know, ball down to first is a foul ball.
Yeah, I think most of the players understand how fortunate it is, and I think if you have any understanding, and I think most modern day players, you could see it on the Oriole bench, they realize, I mean, this is Brooks Robinson. I mean, this is one of the reasons that they get those kind of contracts. And of course, Pedroia, a wonderful young player, as is Markakis, as is Roberts. But I like the fact that when there is Nick, when Brooks told the story before, when Rick Dempsey had to come off the disabled list, he kind of prematurely retired. He was going to end anyway, and Dempsey came back onto the roster, played that night, struck out 3 times, and Brooks saw him the next day, and he said, I retired for that.
He should argue for another 500.
Yeah. It was tough to get raises.
Oh, my. That's the old Ralph Kiner story. Ralph led the league in home runs for had been like 5 consecutive years, and Branch Rickey called him in Pittsburgh, and he kept sending his contract back because there was no raise in it. Hadn't been a raise for years. And finally, he took the contract into Rickey and said, I've led the league in home runs for 5 years, and I'm not getting 1 cent more. And Rickey looked at Kiner and said, how many games did we win and where did we finish last year? And Kiner said, well, we finished last. He said, we finished last without you. Ralph said, I signed the contract, handed it over. I mean, those were tough negotiations. And you weren't talking about, like Brooks said, you're talking about $500 or $1,000. That's what you were asking for a raise. Pitch is taken inside and a 1-ball 2-strike count.
No, there's countless stories of that's the way it was, and you didn't really have an alternative. You didn't have arbitration. If you ever said, well, you know, so-and-so over in the Red Sox is making it, they said none of your business, or one of your teammates. It didn't matter. The game has changed in that sense tremendously.
Here's the 1-2 delivery. Fiorentino takes it, which is the reason why Marvin Mitchell should be in the Hall of Fame, and is also the reason why he isn't. His impact on the game is as great as any, and the owners hate every second of it. because of what happened to salaries, and he's the guy that got it done. 2 ball, 2 strike count. And the pitch is away, and Fiorentino has worked the count now to 3-2.
Well, the Orioles have only beaten the Red Sox, what, twice in 15 games? I'll tell you the formula right here. You got a pretty good pitching performance from Guthrie. Put a rally on him. Let Guthrie pitch another inning and then go to your bullpen, because the pitch count's going to be in the hundreds, and take your chances, even though they have the second best bullpen in baseball when we talk about the Red Sox. That's how you finally beat the Red Sox. Score some runs.
3-2 delivery is going to be foul back. There have been outstanding battles here between pitcher and hitter in this game on both sides. Jeremy Guthrie has walked 3 and struck out 1, given up just 2 runs on 6 hits. Worthy of having a lead and a win so far. But so is Buchholz with a walk and a strikeout and 1 run on 4 hits. Fiorentino takes it, and he got a leadoff walk. So the Orioles get the leadoff man on for the second consecutive inning. Oriole fans, when it comes to tickets, you deserve Major League service. Go to StubHub, official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Orioles. It'll be Boston tomorrow at 7, Boston Sunday afternoon at 1:30, and then Toronto with the set against the Blue Jays on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday nights in Canada.
So for Felix PA, look for a ball you could hit into right field. Fiorentino runs well, but look for a ball maybe you can advance him, maybe, even though Drew throws very well, and this is a pretty small ballpark at Camden Yards. Difficult sometimes to get a runner to third, especially if the ball is hit sharply.
Orioles down by just 1. PA in the leadoff spot, has grounded out and flied out. He's had 1 hit and 7 at bats, lifetime off Buchholz. Felix, of course, as we were talking about Wigginton, PA's done the same thing when given a chance to play, as he has heated it up, both the long ball and extra base hits and RBIs. This is where Buchholz really has been taking his time. 1-0 count. PA towards second base. Pedroia double play depth. There's one. Relay Gonzalez. That didn't take long.
Nope. There's your ground ball. Again, the ground balls to fly ball ratio came in only 57 in the air. See, this is a 2-seam fastball. This is what you try to do if you're a pitcher. Get a hitter that maybe's a little greedy trying to hit your pitch and pull it. And that's why the count has a real important part of hitting. PA may be a little over aggressive.
And if you noticed where Pedroia was playing, you saw a very smart baseball player realizing the situation. You look where he is now in the outfield grass, and you know he's going to move in if he's a double play depth. Well, he came in even further than that. He was almost in where you'd play on a play to the plate, because he knew PA was so fast that he was going to have to get a ground ball in a hurry, and it worked.
And you can do that when you have a guy like Buchholz who's on one of those rolls. I mean, he has been just so good, again, for a youngster who struggled like he did last year. I said this up in Boston, and I'll say it again tonight. I mean, this is the poster boy for what you hope the young Oriole pitchers will be. The Brian Mattises, the Chris Tillmans, even Jason Birkin, who's going to pitch on Sunday. These are the guys. David Hernandez, maybe not as a finesse pitcher like Mattis or Buchholz, but this is a youngster, came up, pitched a no-hitter in his second major league start, struggled horribly last year, sent to the minors, and figured out how to get back here.
And right now with a 5-3 mark, and hasn't lost in 6 starts. 3-0 delivery, and he loses his Taurus. Never got one in. So his Taurus is on. That'll be 2 walks coming here in the inning and in the ball game, and will bring Brian Roberts to the plate.
I don't think he wanted to do that, I'll tell you that.
Brian has singled and flied out, now 7 for 16 lifetime off Buchholz.
And remember, 14 of his 15 home runs come from this side of the plate.
2-1 lead for Boston. And Roberts loops that one down the line. That is going to be caught. by Reddick, who came on for Bay defensively to play in left field. No runs with a base runner left on. It remains 2-1 Red Sox. The birthday of the United States Air Force, brought to you by DynCorp International. We serve today for a safe tomorrow. By Panasonic Toughbook Computers, tough book for a tough world. And by Navy Federal Credit Union. We serve where you serve. Guthrie ready to go to work. Reddick will get his first at bat. And tonight's game, in celebration of the Air Force's birthday, more than 500,000 active Guard and Reserve airmen proudly serving the United States. The Air Force always ready to fly. Josh Reddick came on for Bay. We do not know why Bay came out of the ball game. He hit a home run in the fourth inning. Bay did. Reddick's getting his first at bat here. Played most of the season at AA ball in Portland, Maine. Recalled for his third stint with a big club on September 2nd. 2-1 delivery on the way and a check swing. Home plate umpire says he went around on it. 2-2.
Yeah, 8 hits, 5 of them for extra base hits, a home run and 4 doubles. I think a 241 hitter down at Portland, as you mentioned. Last year, kind of worked his way all the way up. Low A, high A, and double A. And then this year, as you mentioned, up and down, up and down, up and down. Good defensive player.
Ball player the Red Sox just want to get a greater chance to see and watch him perform at this level. And so for him, that's one of the reasons the expanded roster really helps. 2-2 delivery, grounded towards the hole. He's got a base hit. Josh Reddick is on with a single, leading off the 6th. It's interesting, speaking of expanded rosters, during the recent series with the Angels and the Red Sox, both Terry Francona and Mike Scioscia spoke out against the expanded roster. Said they'll use it, and they're both using players, as is Dave Tremblay, but Terry said it cuts against my managerial grain. We have these players, and yeah, I got them and I put them in, but we're not going with what got us here, and it's too many people to try and get everything done with.
Well, Wednesday night he had 17 position players. He used 16 of them. Yeah, I thought he made a great point. He said he should have 30 instead of, I mean, you could go from 25, which is what you can have up to September 1st, and increase it 62% if you brought up your whole 40-man roster. I mean, that would be the most. But a lot of Orioles have 13, would have 15 players if they had healthy in the bullpen. But he said have 30, and every night you get to designate 25. And I think they do that. Don't they do that in basketball, football, and in hockey?
Yes. There's no other sport that has this expanded roster concept the way baseball does.
Of course, he also said nobody's really called me and asked me what to think.
Well, the trouble right now is that it's part of the collective bargaining agreement, and the Players Association is never going to let go of it without good cause, because it's service time for the players. So when any player gets called up, it's major league service time, which makes an impact on what he's going to get in his retirement.
And then it's collusion if you arbitrarily decide that you're not going to call him up.
Thank you, Marvin.
That's fun.
No, that's right. That's absolutely right. 2-1 delivery on the way, and that is taken up high, so that's why it doesn't change.
Yeah.
A 3-ball, 1-strike count. J.D. Drew has flied out and drawn a walk. On at first base, Reddick in a 1-run ball game. Jeremy Guthrie behind 3-1. Center field. PA. Runner halfway. 1 down, 6th. On Friday, October 2, don't miss the final fireworks night of the year. Hope you'll get family and friends and all come out here to Oriole Park all weekend long. It'll be Fan Appreciation Weekend. Special $1 mass and maximum access tickets still available for Friday and Sunday. To get yours, visit Orioles.com today. Fireworks, October 2.
So 107 pitches for Jeremy Guthrie. I mean, his stuff has been, compared to the way it's been the last 5 games, a little marginal tonight. Maybe not as much command. So somehow this is when you take a step back and figure, how can I get out of this inning? Where can I go where I can get Kochman to make an out, maybe hit a double play ball?
Foul that one back.
And part of it is to try to finish your pitches. And when you get tired, whether it's pitch count or towards the end of the season, you just got to slow everything down and get your arm out in front. That's the way the ball gets down in the strike zone.
Kochman has singled twice, has an RBI. Guthrie trying to get him to hit a ground ball and get 2 right here. Casey Kochman has 57 at bats right now with the Red Sox. Runner at first. Jeremy Guthrie, how he has progressed this season. He has 5 consecutive starts, not counting this one, where he has given up 3 earned runs or less. 5 consecutive. And the home run hit in this ball game by Bay was only the 2nd home run that he has surrendered in 5 games. 2-ball, 1-strike, runner goes. Hit and run was on. That one launched in the air to right. Nick Markakis with plenty of room.
Yeah, so Terry Francona just trying to get something going because of all the good hitting counts. Start the runner, stay out of the double play, as it turns out. So everything up this inning, but only, again, 1 out of getting out of the inning. And right here, Matt Wieters is doing exactly what he needs to do, because there's a sense, even if Matt's only, 23, he realizes everything is up, have a little conversation. You need an out. Pitch count's going to get you out of the game now to 111.
You want to talk about the growth of Matt Wieters? You know something, a month ago, Matt Wieters wouldn't have done that.
Nope.
He would not have gone out there. The veteran pitcher, considered number 1 on the staff, he would have stayed behind the plate. Now he's settled in a little bit, knows his role.
And usually it's Chad Moeller that catches Jeremy Guthrie. He's done a terrific job behind the plate tonight.
That one towards right center. That is going to fall in for a base hit. Barehanded by Markakis. Over to third base goes Reddick. He was on the fly with 2 down. So Gonzalez gets his first hit, 1 for 3, and the Red Sox have runners at first and third.
Yeah, not hit well, but again, it's up in the right in the middle of the plate, so he just kind of dumps it into right center. And then here comes Rick Kranitz, and there is Reddick all the way.
You got a very tough Jacoby Ellsbury coming up to bat here with 2 down and 2 on. Kranitz wants to make sure they are on the same page here and how they want to approach this at bat. Red Sox are beginning a road trip. They'll make stops in Kansas City and New York. It is a 10-game, 10-day trip. The Red Sox are going to play ball for 20 consecutive days coming to the end of the season. Orioles will finish up here. There you see the wild card race. It's a pretty comfortable lead, with Texas now 6 games behind. Texas is going to be at home against the Angels. A big series there. The Angels are going to try and put their division away, playing Texas, while Detroit's going to be at Minnesota. That is the biggest series of the weekend. 3 games. Detroit's got a 4-game lead over the Twins, and they play in Minnesota. Jacoby Ellsbury shoots it into left field for a base hit. Reddick will score, and it is a 3-1 ball game. A 2-out RBI single by Ellsbury.
And that base hit's going to get Gary Guthrie out of the game. Just could not get the last out. Great hitting approach. It's not like he just sprays it. I mean, he drives that ball on the ground. I mean, Ellsbury struggling early on in the year, but certainly not a struggle now.
So the Orioles will go to the bullpen as Ellsbury delivers obviously a very big RBI at this point in the ball game. Ellsbury's got 52. Jeremy Guthrie out. Matt Albers on. Wanted desperately to get that final out and certainly didn't want to give up that third run, so he will leave, and Matt Albers out of the bullpen.
Yeah, pitched well enough to win with some run support, but you can see the scoreboard. So Albers comes on his last appearance. He came in, struck out B.J. Upton of the Rays the other night, the only batter he faced. Pedroia, not good numbers against him. Let's see, 1-for-7. But we all know he can hit. Good sinker down and away, and that's how he got B.J. Upton to swing.
Pedroia's 1 for 3 in the ball game with a 10-game hit streak. He's got a runner on at second base in Gonzalez. Albers with 2 down. The 0-1. Matt Albers, this will be appearance number 8 against the Red Sox on the year. Not pretty. 8 in the third innings. He has given up 5 runs on 16 hits and walked 4 with 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, the one number that bothers you, and he's going to have to work on if he's back with the club, is just the inherited runners. 17 out of the 28 have scored. That's too high a percentage. But
0-2 count.
Pitching better as of late.
Pedroia inside out to Markakis, right at him. But a run in on 3 hits with no errors and a base runner left on. It is a 3-1 Red Sox lead.
want to check out what's happening around the major leagues, we took a look at what the playoff picture would look like if the season ended today. The Red Sox would win the American League wild card. They would take on the Angels in the ALDS. Also, the Tigers would be at Yankee Stadium. And the NLDS, the Rockies at Philadelphia, and the Cardinals would take on the Dodgers in LA. Gary?
And more it looks like that indeed will be the matchup. You don't see this very often. Here's the trainer and the manager have walked out to center field to talk to Jacoby Ellsbury, just to make sure he is all right. Ellsbury picked up the RBI single. Now watch him when he gives you a grimace here, right there. You know what we know.
Yeah. Can only guess. Usually when a guy's running and he grimaces, it's something with the legs. And of course, that's such an important part of his game.
So we'll see. Ellsbury will stay in. Bay, of course, is already out. And we haven't heard why Jason Bay came out. It is a 3-1 ball game, bottom half of the 6th inning. Nick Markakis will lead it off against Buchholz on a strike taken. Nick has singled and flied out. Markakis is hitting .370 with a couple of home runs against the Red Sox this season. Lifetime against Boston, a .295 career hitter with 6 homers against the Red Sox. 0-1 count. Markakis drills that one to left field. Reddick there.
Yeah, his stuff is good enough where after the single the last time he got a ball up, he kind of, talk about grimace, he wasn't happy, but he comes right back because, again, anytime you can throw from 91 to 95 with 3 other pitches, it is difficult to go up and look for just one pitch. Not afraid to throw it over.
That will bring up Melvin Mora. He has popped out and grounded out. That'll be inside with the fastball. The Orioles have had a base runner on in every inning, and they have stranded one in every inning. 5 left total, one of those in scoring position. That was in the 4th inning. That pitch will be taken up high. Buchholz has been able to find the big outs. Luke Scott delivering the home run for Dave Tremblay's O's. That's the run on the board. Orioles have been outscored by the Red Sox 110 to 60 in the season series. This is game number 16.
Well, the Red Sox just can find whatever way it seems that they need to beat them. They can beat them 2-1 like they did early in the year. If you go back, I mean, one of the 2 wins this year is when they were down 10-1. When they came back and won it 11-10. I mean, it was one of the more thrilling victories for the Orioles for the entire season. The way they did it, winning in the 7th and 8th inning.
Moore takes it and it's in there. 2-2.
But to do it against the Red Sox,
pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
And it was, but it was only 1 of 2. That's the problem
point, yeah.
with it. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Play Buchholz, 2 walks and a strikeout in the ball game. Melvin Mora got jammed. Gonzalez 2 down. The Orioles and Oriole wives have teamed up with the Maryland SPCA for a very special souvenir, the 2010 Orioles Pet Calendar. 16 months of your favorite Orioles players, their pets, lovable dogs and cats. Proceeds benefit the Maryland SPCA and their work with homeless pets. You get your Orioles calendar, just go to Orioles.com. Matt Wieters has walked and grounded out. 2 down, bases are empty. Matt hitting at .269 and will take the pitch down low for a ball.
It just appears to me that Matt Wieters is much more relaxed. My good friend Tim McCarver, Jim Cott used to always talk. We talk about there's such a fine line between being tense and being intense.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, you can see it in, I think, the body language in his face and the way he plays. And that's to be expected. Came up here with all the accolades and the press and was expected to be Babe Ruth on day one. And that's just not going to happen. But it certainly is coming along. Everything about his play. 2-0. That's going to be a base hit into right field. So Wieters is on with a single.
And you can just see right there the way he attacked a hitter's pitch. Buchholz with a 2-run lead, didn't want to walk anybody. Walked 2 last innings. So right here, 2-0. He just goes out and get a little uppercut swing. Foot gets down. Bat head through. Hits it hard. Hits it right into the outfield in a hurry.
So the Orioles get hit number 5. 4 singles and a homer. And now it is Luke Scott who has the home run. Scott got it in the 2nd inning with 2 down, nobody on, and has also popped out. Buchholz outside to him for a ball. Buchholz up to 93 pitches thrown in the ball game.
Well,
he came out of there with over 100.
Yep, Terry Francona if he can get him through this inning, maybe he'll send him out there for one more batter, but he can sequence his way with his bullpen.
And the pitch is going to be taken down low. 2-0 count.
You know, I look at the Oriole ball club, and we always talk about the future, but again, you want to develop pitchers like Buchholz. It looks like Wieters is going to be one of the better catchers in not only baseball but in the American League. Posada is going to be another year older. Veritek may not be back, so you might have a little bit of edge behind the plate. Center field set, right field set. Looks like left field is going to be set. Second base is set, and they're all good players.
Yep, absolutely.
And then you look around how the Red Sox formulated their ball club. They traded for Veritek. They went out and got Drew as a free agent. They traded for Gonzalez, traded for Martinez, developed Ellsbury, Euclid, Pedroia, traded for Bay. I mean, they traded for Ramirez, who's getting up and throwing now.
2-0 delivered to Scott, down to first base, backhanded by Kochman. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base, and it remains 3-1. Highlights as Luke Scott delivers the long ball for the Orioles, but defense kept the score down momentarily after the Orioles had come back to tie it up. But Jason Bay, he would deliver his 34th. That came in the 4th inning, and a big RBI picked up in the 6th on that base hit by Ellsbury. And there is your box.
And battle the bullpens from now on, and Albers will stay on.
We go to the top half of the 7th inning, a 3-1 ball game. And that's going to be a base hit into left center field. Martinez Talk about a hitting machine right now. He is it. He's 2 for 4 in this ball game, and as we said, a 17-game hit streak.
Man, how'd they get him? They got him from Cleveland. They took Justin Masterson and sent him over there.
Well, the Orioles, now it's Albers and whomever else might come in. Chris Waters in the bullpen. Their job to hold this thing right where it is. The Orioles can get back 3-1, but you don't want to give up any more than this. That Red Sox bullpen, second in ERA. Their starters are fourth. Pitch is danced over by Youkilis. He is walked, flied out, and grounded out. 1-0 count. Leadoff man on here in the 7th inning. It is hit number 10 as the Red Sox piling up the hits. And that is a slider that will catch the outside corner. Red Sox offense is 5th in average, 3rd in runs, 3rd in home runs, 3rd in walks, 3rd in on base percentage. Combine that with the numbers for their pitching and you see a very balanced team.
Yeah, 3rd in earned run average, 2nd in as far as the bullpen. Yeah, the Orioles actually have a higher average, but where the runs difference is, and Daniel Bard throws 100 miles per hour. Another youngster they developed through their minor league system. Maybe not 199. He has hit 100 a couple of times, but he's in the upper 90s.
Here's the 1-2 delivery on the way and a roller back to the mound. Albers, who am I going to get that to? Roberts had a reach and not going to get it.
Well, make a good throw, you get a double play. Make a bad throw, you throw a changeup. Point is, you know, sometimes you might designate it's going to be the second baseman, but the shortstop's going to be right behind the bag. So it's a horrible throw because he has to reach for it, and when he has to reach for it, right there, got to find the bag. Kind of like hitting a quarterback over the middle. You got to lead him sometimes.
That will be it for Albers. He will work 2/3 of an inning, surrenders 1 hit. He will be responsible for the base runner Youkilis on with David Ortiz coming up. Chris Waters coming out of the bullpen. Book your next trip at Southwest.com. And by Honda, the 2009 Honda Clarence. It's the only thing from Honda that won't last. Matt Albers out. And David Ortiz will face a left-hander, Chris Waters.
Yeah, those numbers reflect his last game and only game, Sunday game that the Yankees would come on and win 13-3. He came in, gave up the home run to Matsui. Starter all year long down at AAA Norfolk.
David Ortiz has an 0 for 2 and a walk. Runner on at first base, 1 down, 3-1 Red Sox lead. Waters 29, went 9-7 with a 4.49 ERA for the Tides. That to first, knocked down, and the force out, but not in time. If it had been cleanly handled, Wigginton would have had 2. Instead, we'll get Youkilis and Ortiz reaches.
Yeah, Ty Wigginton was talking about when you play third, you play very shallow. Ball gets down on you. Nice throw right there, and then Asturis knows who's running. But Ortiz beats it out.
The David Ortiz on, and that will bring up Reddick. Josh Reddick had a single in his only at bat, came on for Jason Bay. Bay had reached on a fielder's choice, hit his 34th home run. We understand Bay went out with flu-like symptoms. You hear that and everybody goes, yikes.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Me too. And I'm sure the rest of the Red Sox in the clubhouse are thinking that. A 1-ball, 1-strike count. Ortiz not being held at first base. Wigginton plays behind him. The thing about this is when you're Wigginton, trying to see the batter and play behind David Ortiz poses, shall we say, enormous problems.
It's like standing behind the warehouse and trying to see home plate.
David is an immense man. 1-2 delivery. That will be fouled off.
Well, they don't call him Big Poppy for nothing.
No. And Wiggy's not exactly a frail individual. Ty Wigginton can be a pulling guard. But when Ortiz comes out there, Wigginton can't see anything. Bye-bye. And he's running, and it's fouled off. And I'm not talking about Wigginton. Ortiz with 2 down.
And the earth is going to shift right here. Well, he had shoulder problems, knee problems, wrist problems. Knees are better.
I can't believe Terry Francona actually wants to see him trying to get into second base.
Well, he hurt his shoulder sliding in a couple of years ago. Head first.
And neither do I think he would actually have a green light. Of course, probably he doesn't have a red light either. He kind of just does what he wants to do. A 2-ball, 2-strike count on Reddick, and the pitch is outside from Waters, and the count will go to 3-2. And Chris Waters trying to find an out here. Retire the side. Ortiz will be going here. 3-2.
Pitch to Reddick and Drew on deck.
Good pitch by Waters as he pulled back a little bit. No runs in, a runner left. Tonight's 7th inning stretch brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Please drink responsibly. Into the wild blue yonder. A 3-1 Red Sox lead. Not bad for an Army guy to know the first line anyway. Pretty good ball game and pretty well pitched both sides here.
Yeah, you know, Guthrie, again, if you're playing for a team that's scoring a bunch of runs, and the Orioles can do that, they're just not doing it tonight. So there's good pitching, stop, good hitting. Orioles have been hitting well. Buchholz, just like he was up in Boston, has been terrific. Orioles playing a little short-handed. Adam Jones out the whole month of September. Stable list for Reimold. So again, it's tough to beat the Red Sox. And for Jeremy, you know, he hung in there. That's what he's been doing. And you know what, he may end up losing his 15th game tonight, but he gave you, I think, pretty much everything he could give you tonight.
And he's given the Orioles a chance still to win this ball game. They are far from out of it. It's just trying to get a big hit, just something that's going to shake Buchholz and maybe get him out of the ball game and get to the bullpen and try and do something against this bullpen, as Daniel Bard will come on and work here. So we'll see what they can do. They're going to see some fastballs.
Well, yeah, you know, and then of course he throws in the upper 90s, can hit close to 100, and then he'll drop that big curveball off. But as good as Buchholz is, maybe a good idea for him to leave and try to take your chances against Bard.
So we will go to the 7th inning. Ty Wigginton will lead it off. Fiorentino and then PA are due up. 6 innings of work for Buchholz. 1 run on 5 hits. Ground ball to first, played perfectly position wise. Kochman, and Wigginton is retired. 1 away, bottom of the 7th inning. Time to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. Here are the candidates tonight. Clay Buchholz, who left, could be the winning pitcher. Run on 5 hits over 6. Luke Scott, who's delivered his 23rd home run for the Orioles run. And Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury has had an RBI base hit that right now looms very large. Text in your vote, A, B, or C, to 51862. Ellsbury got that in the 6th inning. It was the 3rd run for the Red Sox. Fiorentino has drawn a walk and flied out to left field. Jeff Fiorentino trying to get on with PA at the top of the order, waiting on deck. And a timeout being asked for at third. Juan Samuel. Fiorentino looking down there now. Fiorentino not quite sure. I think Juan was trying to make sure that he knew what the count was here. 1-0, 1 down. And the pitch is taken outside, 2-0.
Well, we know the drill here. Anytime you trail by 2 runs, get a guy on, and tying run comes to the plate. That's where you start. Bard only 1 run in his last 6 1/3 innings over 7 appearances, 17 strikeouts in those appearances. Danny Baez, who's been throwing the ball well for the Orioles, gets loose.
Until they wanted Fiorentino to take a couple of pitches. That's what they were telling him. Try and draw a walk here if you can off the reliever. 2-1 delivery on a check swing, stayed away, and the count will go to 3 balls and 1 strike. Well, he's got a shot at getting on here, and that would allow the Orioles to get the potential tying run to the plate at the top of the order. Hideki Okajima warming up for the Red Sox. 3-1 delivery. Bard with a fastball. Fiorentino threw it, and a 3-ball 2-strike count. Now Fiorentino now has got to protect as well as try and pick up a ball 4 if he can here off him. Here's the 3-2 delivery, and it is up high, and he got the walk. Nice job. That is exactly what he went to the plate intending to do. And the Orioles will get the potential tying run up here in the 7th with 1 out.
Yeah, we talked about playing a little short-handed because of the injuries to Jones and Reimold. You know, normally this would be Brian Roberts, and then you most likely would have Adam Jones right behind him, hitting in the 2 spot. And then it would be Markakis. Would have been Huff, but he got traded again for young players. So
Felix PA leads off, and he has grounded out a couple of times, once into a double play and flied out to left field. For Bard this season, this will be game number 5 against the Orioles. No runs on 1 hit in 4 1/3 innings that he has worked against the Oriole hitters this season. Bard last out in the ball game 2 days ago against the Angels. 0-1 delivery on the way. PA trying to jump on that, disgusted that he didn't, fouled it right straight back.
Well, it's hard to jump on a pitch that, you know, is anywhere from 97. That might have been a changeup at 82. Maybe that's why he's a little disgusted, because a belt high changeup is going to speed up your bat. Daniel Bard's dad, and I told the story early on, he walked up to me early in the year and said, my dad actually caught in the Oriole organization back in 83 and 84. Paul Bard. So he was a farmhand. There's a high heat at 99, so he didn't hit 100.
So Bard gets a strikeout with that fastball. PA is gone. There are 2 down. Fiorentino still on at first base.
So can we say again, you being a hockey guy, he Gretzky'd him at 99?
You can say that? There aren't many who can say that.
No.
He does run back and fire. Here's his Torres now. Fiorentino on with 2 down. And his Torres shows bunt, bringing Youkilis in.
And the interesting thing when I had that conversation, Jerry, was that he said, you know, the good thing about being with the Red Sox, I get to learn from all these guys, and they don't need me. But then they traded Justin Masterson to Cleveland for Victor Martinez, and now they need him. He's become a mainstay, along with a number of other setup guys to get the Papelbon.
Here's the 0-1 delivery as Torres takes the off-speed pitch, a breaking ball that is in there for a strike, and it goes to 0-2. Orioles trying to find a way. They are down 3-1, being out hit 10-5. Orioles have left 6 on in the ball game. The Red Sox 9. Orioles have had a very hard time against Buchholz and now Bard of trying to just move a runner off first, and that's why right there. Bard gets a strikeout. No runs, no hits. A base runner left on, 7 complete. Red Sox leading it. It was some kind of play. It looked like an RBI base hit right there. Ellsbury. It was not going to be that way. Fiorentino backed it up, got it to his Torres. His Torres made the throw, and Wieters made a great pick and tackle and got the out. A 7-6-2 in the 3rd inning, getting Pedroia.
That's a spring training highlight. That's what you do. Cutoffs and relays.
That one worked, and obviously it could still be real important here.
Well, it keeps you in the game, and that's what it's about. Open.
J.D. Drew will take the pitch outside, where Matt Wieters had moved way out to on the 2-strike count. And the count goes to 1-2. Drew has flied out a couple of times and drawn a walk in the game. Chris Waters working. And the pitch is inside to him. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, he can walk with the best of them. Always had. That's why they got him.
250 off left-handers. Brian Roberts. Ball shot up on him, but he made the play. 1 down in the 8th.
Yeah, sharply hit, but right at B-Rob. Hauls it in. Didn't have a choice. Could have gotten hurt. A bounder, a hard bounder.
Great crowd on hand here tonight on this beautiful evening at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Here is Casey Kochman. He has singled twice, has an RBI, and has flied out to right field. Kochman will watch one go by for a ball. Terry Francona's desire to getting meaningful at bats has worked so far tonight. Kochman, since joining the Red Sox, 1 hit in 14 at bats against left-handers.
Of course, when he was with the Angels, they loved him because he could hit lefties. Of course, he's playing every day. His dad, a longtime scout and baseball personnel for the Angels, Tom Kochman. I've been in that organization ever since I started playing, it seems like. That's a long time ago.
Talked about how good he is in the field. His career fielding percentage at first base is .998. It is the highest in baseball history among players with 3,500 or more chances. That one is going to fall in for a base hit. Asturias got fooled. Probably couldn't have made the play in any event, but he started in, and then once he did that, the ball was over his head. So Kochman's got a 3-hit ball game, 3 for 4. And that'll be hit number 11 for the Red Sox. Gonzalez batting ninth. The Red Sox shortstop a single, 1 for 3. Red Sox had a 7-game win streak ended last night by the Angels. Red Sox, though, have won 8 out of their last 10 ball games. Foul back into the seats.
Well, since the Orioles lost or left, they had not had lost a game till last night. They were lost 3 out of 4 in Chicago. They came home or beat the Orioles 2, and then Tampa Bay came in, had a rain out, won a game on Saturday, doubleheader on Sunday, and then the Angels came to Boston.
That is right at Nick Markakis. Gonzalez retired, 2 down in the 8th inning. Jacoby Ellsbury stayed in the ball game after the visit to the outfield by Terry Francona and the trainer, deciding he was all right after he winced picking up an RBI single in the 6th inning as he ran down to first.
Well, he has hit 2 balls in the 5.5 hole between short and third.
He extended his hit streak in the 1st inning to 4 games when he picked up the single. Ellsbury, 324 off left-handers, 291 off right-handers. The left-handers, Chris Water, they're looking at right there, trying to find an out here. 2-0, 2 down. Runner at first base taking, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Outfield plays Ellsbury, take the ball to left. Outside though, 3-ball, 1-strike count.
Well, if you're Chris Waters, you want to stay in the ballpark and you want to stay away from extra base hits.
3-1. He gets it in there. 3-2, 2 down. Kochman will be running at first base. Wigginton will work behind him. Three-two delivery, and got him. Strike 3 called. He's been unhappy before in the 2nd inning. He's unhappy again, but Waters finds the big out. No runs, 1 hit. A runner left on base. 3 Bard came on for an inning, struck out one, walked one. Red Sox have a 3-1 lead. A little deeper into the bullpen with Hideki Okajima.
Again, lights out against lefties. Righties hit him at 322. Brian Roberts, of course, Terry Francona says, I want him to hit right-handed. Even though he's hit a couple points higher right-handed and left-handed, not as many at-bats. 23 holes this year for Okajima. Once again, that conduit to get to Papelbon, who's only given up 2 earned runs in his career in 28+ innings against the Orioles. And of course, they do have action right behind Okajima in case he gets in trouble.
Orioles will have Roberts, Markakis, and Mora. Brian Roberts a single, 1 for 3 in the ball game. 3-11-0 for the Red Sox, 1-5-0 for the Orioles. Hideki Okajima working out of the stretch from third base side of that rubber. Orioles have been able to get a couple of leadoff men on in the game, but have not been able to take advantage of it. And the home run by Scott continues to be the only run up there on the board.
So Brian 3 for 7 lifetime
off Okajima.
Yeah.
1-0 count. Brian up to 52 doubles in that chase for 60. Every double he hits is a new mark for the Orioles franchise as he bests his own record. Broke it this season, and it was his mark, and will continue to do that with the doubles added on here. Okajima, 2-0 count. Roberts may well take one right here. Let's see. Showed bunt he was taking. It is in there for a strike, and the count goes to 2-1. Papelbon, Takahashi Sato in the bullpen. It's a lot of depth in a major league pen the Red Sox have going for them. 2-1 delivery, and there's an off-speed pitch that is in there for a strike.
Yeah, I think Brian thought that might have been a little bit high. Down the middle. Big strike zone on occasion.
Two ball, 2 strike delivery on the way, and Roberts in the air to right field. Easily handled by J.D. Drew. Roberts retired, 1 down in the bottom half of the 8th inning. If the Red Sox go to the postseason right now, for their starters, they're going to have Beckett and Lester as their top 2. Dice K probably is going to be able to pitch for Terry Francona's ball club, and that would leave Buchholz probably. Tim Wakefield, the question of he's going to pitch on Monday, but has had problems with the back. Whether Wakefield would be the 4th or not remains a question depending on his health.
Actually, you know, I would probably bring Buchholz ahead of Dice K unless he really shows him he can come back with some outstanding starts. I guess, and we'll see this on Sunday, the thing about Dice K is they said effective and efficient. Now, last year he won a lot of games, but he takes you to the edge. Totally different. I talked to Tim Wakefield today. He's got actually a herniated disc, so weakness in the leg. He's going to try to pitch. Get his sideline today, and he will pitch Monday, but
it's iffy.
Yeah, it's real iffy.
How far you can go is very, very iffy.
Turned 43 on August 2nd, so probably needs back surgery if he's going to continue his career. And that's a horrible story. Made his first All-Star team. He's a warrior. You know, if he could pitch, he would.
Markakis takes it in the air, right center field. Center fielder Ellsbury's got it. Markakis is retired, so Okajima comes on, gets a couple of fly ball outs, and there are 2 down. With Melvin Mora coming up, Clay Meredith in the bullpen. Orioles down to 4 outs to get back into the ball game. Okajima waiting for Ellsbury to get back into position in center. Melvin Morris had an 0 for 3 tonight. Melvin with a 4-game hit streak coming into the ball game. Morris 2 for 5 lifetime off Okajima. That is in there for a strike. Well,
Terry Francona telling you that numbers really don't mean a whole lot to him. because he brought him in. Righty's hitting .322. He gets Brian Roberts out. Again, he gets Markakis out because his numbers favor that. Only one of his 7 home runs against left-handers. And now Melvin Mora trying to get on base, and there's that changeup. He's got the big overhand curveball and just a fadeaway changeup. Acts like a splitter. So not only does it change speed, it goes down.
He has had incredible numbers since the end of April. Once he got into May, his ERA has been .292. 54 games, 16 runs, and 49 innings. 0-2 delivery on the way to Mora, just missed outside. Okajima. 1 ball, 2 strike count.
And a very unusual windup. I got to think it's very deceptive. In other words, he jerks his head and looks straight down, so I'm not sure you would teach any little leaguer to throw this way.
One-two delivery. Melvin Mora will pop it up to short. Gonzalez is there. A 1-2-3 inning for Okajima. The first 1-2-3 against the Orioles tonight. 3-1 Meredith on. Southwest Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. And by Corona and Corona Light, official sponsors of the Timeout. Relax responsibly. With Jim Palmer and Amber Theo Harris, I'm Gary Thorne. 3-1. We go to the 9th inning, game 1 of this 3-game weekend set. Clay Meredith out of the bullpen for Waters, who worked an inning and 2/3 with a hit and a strikeout.
Only 1 earned run in his last 9 innings pitched, over 10 appearances. So the Orioles get him from San Diego. Once was in the Red Sox organization. He gets to face his former team. 2-3-4 coming up for the Red Sox here in the 9th.
Meredith ready to go to work here as Dustin Pedroia stands in with a single. 1 for 4, 10-game hit streak. Pedroia batting .413 against the Orioles coming into this ball game for the year, and he has had 3 home runs against the O's this season. 3 of his 13 homers have come against Baltimore. Out of the stretch, 0-1 delivery, and Pedroia with a big cut, and it'll go to 0-2.
Yeah, the amazing thing about him, he's a little guy, maybe a shade shorter than Brian Roberts, but 41 strikeouts and now approaching 570 at bats. Talk about back control.
And swings at that one and
make it
wishes he
42.
hadn't.
Yeah.
Strikeout for Meredith.
You just don't see this very often. A good breaking ball. And usually he can cover. You can see him. What a great angle right there, and you don't see it. I mean, great extension. It's kind of interesting the other night off of Bradford when Wieters hit the home run. He said, I looked at the big front of the mound for the release point. That's what he was looking at. Ended up hitting a 3-run home run. It is so unusual to face somebody that Because with Clay Merritt, there's a lot of stuff going on. Arm swinging, and then, of course, when he's on his game, it's 6.
Victor Martinez up, Sean Henn in the pen. 0-1, 1 away. Martinez will take the slider inside. He's had a double, a single, 2 for 4. 17 game hit streak, 9th in RBIs in the league. Switch hitter. 1-1 delivery. Nick Markakis. 2 down in the 9th. So Meredith a couple of quick outs. Tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night rather, right back at you with David Hernandez 4-8 against John Lester 13-7. David's dad already on hand here, ready to watch the weekend series and see his son pitch tomorrow. Clay Meredith with 2 away works against Kevin Youkilis. Youkilis 0 for 3 and a walk in the ball game. He came in with a .453 batting average against the Orioles this season and 6 home runs against the O's. That is inside and a 2-0 count on Youkilis. He's coming off a homestand where he had a couple of home runs in a 5 for 12 series as they finished up against the Angels at home. Down low, and it'll go to 3-0.
Yeah, and then the back spasms. He said it happens once a year. He said he usually takes 3 days off because if he tries to play on that 3rd day, it just doesn't get well. And of course, when he was telling me that, you could grit in his teeth because he doesn't like to take 3 days off.
He doesn't like taking that bat off.
Well, he doesn't.
Pitch is a strike. Terry Francona realized when the acquisition was made of Bay coming over and then Kochman coming that he was going to have some of his regulars sit a bit, and he said so publicly and just said they'll do it for the team. They've gritted their teeth and done it. Fly ball to center. PA's got it. The Orioles got a shot. Bottom of the 9th inning. Papelbon. Much, and Jonathan Papelbon, if anybody has been a nemesis for the Orioles over the past 5 years, this is he. We have met the enemy, and he is Papelbon.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, terrific stuff. Fastball, slider, splitter, doesn't really use. He's got them all, and you know he's got them all, but pretty much seems that at least against the Orioles, he ends up throwing a lot of fastballs, and why not? 2 runs in 28+ innings. So there are the numbers against the O's. 4th in the league with 36 saves. Club record 149 career saves. I mean, Dick Raddick.
Bob Stanley.
Yeah, Bob Stanley passed him, and he's not as efficient as Mariano Rivera, but again, the bottom line is he gets the job done. I'm going to throw a lot more pitches. He said he wanted to be maybe a little more economical, but he's a power pitcher. He's going to come at you.
Matt Wieters will lead it off against him. Wieters, Scott, and Wigginton are due up here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Matt has faced him twice, picked up one hit. Papelbon, a .64 lifetime ERA in 30 games against the Orioles. The delivery to Wieters, foul back. That ERA, fourth all-time among pitchers who have pitched against the O's at least 25 innings. Papelbon has continued it this year. He has 7 saves in 8 appearances, 7 1/3 innings, 1 run on 7 hits. Wieters with a 1-strike count. Papelbon's 0-1 delivery to him, and Wieters will foul that back as well, and it goes to 0-2.
And even when Martinez moves up and in and he gets it out over the plate, his stuff is good enough. It has enough movement. It's not always about velocity. We see that day in and day out. If your fastball straight and you're in the middle of the plate at 94, they're going to hit it. But that was 94. He missed by about a foot with his target, and Matt just fouled it off.
2-strike count on Wieters. Here's the 0-2 delivery. Bear in mind, the Orioles, of course, played in the ball game last night against Tampa Bay and were shut down. They have picked up a run here in this game. It's been a tough couple of nights for the Oriole hitters.
And you wouldn't think it'd get any better with Lester, who is 9-0 with a 2.21 lifetime ERA, pitching tomorrow. I mean, it's no sure. I never thought it was a sure thing when you had those kind of numbers, because you still have to go out there. But he's probably their best pitcher over the last couple of months.
1 ball, 2-strike count on Matt Wieters.
Well, it seems so simple. Get a guy on, have the next guy hit a double or a single. But it's just hard to hit home runs off Papelbon, and it's hard to string a bunch of hits together.
1 ball, 2-strike count. Wieters will take it, and it will miss. Papelbon has given up 5 home runs in the 63 innings that he has worked. You saw the 72 strikeouts in those 63 innings, and opponents hitting only .226 against him. Wieters trying to get on here. Orioles down by 2. 2-2 delivery, and Wieters will foul it away again. Oh, Matt battling Papelbon. The first at bat here in the bottom of the 9th inning. Orioles averaging 4.5 runs a game in the 4 against Tampa Bay, but they all came in 2 games, and the other 2 the offense wasn't there. Clay Buchholz gave up just 1 run, 5 hits over 6 innings, the pitcher of record right now for Boston. 2-2. Wieters. Jeremy Guthrie, 3 runs, 9 hits, 5 2/3. Could be the loser. The bullpen barred an inning with a strikeout and a walk. Okajima an inning with nothing across, and now Papelbon for Boston.
And if you're watching Martinez again, he's much more comfortable away than in. He came in again and he threw it up and away. Of course, Matt Wieters is trying to do exactly what he's trying to do, which is put it in place somewhere.
2-2 delivery. Wieters takes it inside. So he has worked the count. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 8 pitches thrown by Papelbon in the at bat.
See, he threw a couple of splitters that he missed with both of them down. So now all of a sudden Victor Martinez says, what do you want to do? Because the Orioles need to get base runners somehow if they want to get back in this game.
That's a big pitch. There's Luke Scott waiting on deck, then Wigginton. Papelbon with the 3-2. And Wieters will pop it up in the infield. Third base, Dupless. So Papelbon wins the battle and gets the out. Updating you on our voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. Right now, Luke Scott is coming to the plate with a home run on top. Buckholz, Ellsbury. You can still vote A, B, or C at 51862. The final results on the O's Extra postgame show. Jim and Rick will have it for you. Here is Scott, the home run in the second. First left-hander to have a homer off Clay Buckholz this season. Since popped out and grounded out. .23 home runs on the year for Luke Scott, who is 1 for 5 off the Red Sox reliever. And the 0-1 pitch to him. Talked about some games to keep an eye on as baseball fans on the weekend. The Giants are playing the Dodgers in L.A. San Francisco trails Colorado by 3.5. So the Dodgers will have a chance to take the Giants out of it, which those two teams love doing that to one another. Phillies are playing Atlanta. They can knock Atlanta's hopes entirely out of the water. 1-1 delivery. They're almost there anyway, as it's a 7.5 game difference. The Phillies ahead of Atlanta.
How about the Twins ahead of Detroit, though, trailing by 4 in the loss column?
3-game set. Detroit leads Minnesota by 4. They're playing this weekend. And Minnesota's got the early 3-0 lead in the 6th inning on the Tigers. Series where one ball game gives you 2 results when you're chasing a team. 2-1 Papelbon on his way to Scott. Luke will hit the ball to center, not deep. Ellsbury. And there are 2 down.
Got to come a long way, playing very deep, but the end result, it's about movement. High fastball pitcher. Tried to get some guys to chase the splitters. But at the end of the day, I throw fastballs. What can you do with them?
Nice to have that multi-run lead. Michael Aubrey will pinch hit for Ty Wigginton. Wigginton had an 0 for 3. Aubrey 2 for 3 as a pinch hitter. Michael City 324. He's had only 34 at bats, no home runs, 3 RBIs.
Had double single last night. Well, actually a single that he tried to stretch into a double, and Kapler made a great throw to throw him out. He said, boy, I learned my lesson here. There's not a lot of at bats in Camden Yards for the Orioles.
1-0 count with 2 down. Aubrey will foul it off. Papelbon, after yet another save against this Oriole team. They hate to see him coming. He's got 2 wins, no losses, and 24 saves against the Orioles in his career. This is the 31st game he has pitched in against Baltimore. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Aubrey will take the fastball. It is up high. 26,812 the announced attendance for game 1 of the 3-game series, and they've seen a good one. 3-11-0 for the Red Sox, 1-5-0 for the Orioles. 2 down, 9th inning. Aubrey takes it for a strike, 2 and 2.
See, there's another ball. It's just not automatic. Watch Victor Martinez's glove. He just move it. And they do it night after night, and the league lets them get away with it.
Here's the 2-2 delivery. Aubrey goes down swinging. And this one is in the books, and the Red Sox take the opener by a score of 3-1. Buckholz wins it 6-3. Guthrie the loser. He is 10 and